I was waiting for it to say the meeting's being recording because here we go. All right. I hereby call this meeting to order at 6:05 p.m. Pledge of Allegiance. Who did it last? McClellan. Vice Chair McClellan. And now we will hear the national anthem from Vice Chair McClellan. Thank you, Vice Chair McClellan. Roll call and verification of quorum. Is it Chair Ray? Are you doing it or is McClellan doing it?
I got it.
All right.
Sorry, I'm on Zoom today, guys. I'm sick. Not COVID, though. I took a test. Mole. Potier. Cura.
Here.
Martinez. McClellan.
Present.
Millington.
Present.
Richard.
Present.
Temple.
Present.
Caldwell.
Present.
Robbins.
Present.
Spalding.
Present.
Castillo.
Present.
Wynn.
Present.
Simcoe. Wanjin.
Present.
Domino.
Present.
Foster. Galloway.
Here.
Custis.
Present.
Beaumont.
Here.
Becerra.
Present.
Gell.
Present.
DeMarla. Patel.
Here.
Yalamanchili.
Here.
Harrell.
Present.
Borges.
Here.
Roll. Almanar.
Present.
Anderson.
Present.
Castellan.
Present.
Sabula. Hall.
Here.
Holmes.
Present.
Huerta.
Here.
Costas. Martin.
Present.
Salerno. Saucedo.
Present.
Tache.
Here.
Cerisi. and Cox. All right, 34 out of 43, quorum is verified.
Thank you, Chair Rea. Also, I heard Costas's name, didn't hear him respond, but I know he's on the call. Costas? I see him there, unless it's just me and I'm wrong. Okay, either way. Okay. Also, Evan Cox and Zykeria Roll have resigned from Senate, so you can go ahead and remove them from the roster. All right. Approval of the minutes. Take a look at last meeting's minutes, and I'll go ahead and take a motion. Temple?
Before I move to make a motion, Senator Costas is present. His computer is kind of going off on him. Right, and then as for the motion, move to approve last meeting's minutes.
There's been a motion to approve last meeting's minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none, I'll take that as general consent. The minutes stand approved. Approval of the agenda. Take a look at tonight's agenda, and I'll take a motion. Paul?
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
There's been a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none, I'll take that as general consent. The agenda stands approved. Open forum. Any non-senators wishing to speak in open forum? Seeing none. Announcements from the student body president, President Lopez.
Good evening, Senate. First of all, Vice Chair McClellan, that was amazing. I had heads covering me, so at first I thought it was like a YouTube video or something, and then I looked to the side and I was like, oh no, he's playing. So amazing job. Thank you for that. And continuing with my thank yous, I would like to thank Chair Salcedo and Chair Hall. Thank you all so much for your help during our first voter registration this past weekend at the Summer B block party. To my understanding, we had a handful of students that did register to vote. So for it being the summer, students just moved in, it being hectic and crazy, I would say we're off to a pretty great start. So thank you for all your hard work. Moving on from that, this week, myself, a couple members of cabinet, and Speaker Custis, we all had the opportunity to sit down with UCFPD and sit in one of their annual block trainings, where they just were training on what useful force and what that looks like, what that means, and how to apply and not apply it. And then in addition, members of cabinet, we went to the Rosen campus. So thank you, Coordinator Boysen, for setting that up for us, to identify ways to improve the Rosen Garden. And we also worked and we were talking on how to have our working relationships with the housing community over at Rosen and how to improve those relationships and just improve relations overall. And then just a couple of updates. So our lobbyist, Gray Robinson, that is the firm that we use, the contract has been processed. So I just wanted to give you all that update. And then updates regarding the Board of Governors meeting. So I've been at the Board of Governors meeting the past 2 days, and I'm not gonna, I apologize, I have a lengthy report today, but I don't want to bore you all with everything that happened in the meeting, but I am just gonna inform you of things that apply directly to students and I think apply to you all. And that resulted from the meeting. So from the Strategic Planning Committee, the board is meeting to select a new accreditation agency best suited for all universities by September 1st. And this will be decided at the August 26th special meeting. And then the following is statistics from the 2022 accountability reports. So the reports show that lower cost to students with a 49% reduction since the 2020-2021 school year, with all institutions in-state costs being below $10,000. There are more degrees in needed fields that are being awarded, with an 11% increase in degrees awarded in programs of strategic emphasis. There's been an increase in four-year graduation rates with a 2.4% system increase. And then the following statistics are just watch lists. So things that the Board of Governors is looking at very carefully, but they think that these statistics are related based heavily on COVID and that COVID has affected these statistics. So student retention has decreased. So 10 out of the 12 institutions decreased on their academic progress rate. Student access rate has decreased. 11 of the 12 institutions, their percentage of undergrads that are Pell Grant students has decreased. And the Florida college system transfers enrollment has declined since fall 2021. And then lastly, from the Academic and Student Affairs Committee, the board approved UCF's PhD Biomedical Engineering program, and that program is set to start in fall 2022, so this upcoming fall semester. And then I have just a couple updates regarding the executive cabinet applications. So as you all may or may not know, applications do close tomorrow. We are not currently where I would hope to have been with applications, despite all of our efforts. I just did want to let the Senate know that after this extension of the applications, we will not be reopening applications regardless of if the position is filled or not. So obviously that's not the goal. The goal is to have all cabinet positions filled, because if not, that isn't going to make for an efficient cabinet. It's not going to make for an efficient, it's not going to help Senate. It's not going to help judicial. It's not going to help anyone. It's not going to help the student body. So it would really be a disservice to the student body if these positions aren't filled. But regardless, if people apply or there's individuals that are appointed and not confirmed, if there won't be a reopening of applications, I will just be redistributing the work within cabinet, and potentially potentially on the committees within the Senate committees, maybe relying a little heavily on them. So for instance, if there's a governmental affairs coordinator, GAP would probably have to play a bigger role. Sorry, GAP. But that's just the reality of where we're at right now. If you all have if you know anyone, if you have any questions, concerns, please come contact me. Please let me know. I just can't have interviews going on forever and an application open forever, because if not, the work actually won't get started, and we've already lost a month's worth of work. But with that, moving on, we have quite the amount of appointments. So starting with the legislative branch's appointments, I hereby appoint the following individuals: Aidan Trainer to the College of Arts and Humanities, Seat 1, Ashley Tribble to the College of Arts and Humanities, Seat 2, Yashika Moda to the College of Business Administration, Seat 1, Seth Nambargi to the College of Business Administration, Seat 3, Caitlin Capazzi to the College of Community Innovation and Education, Seat 1, Jay Himana, I apologize if I pronounce any of these names wrong, Jay Himathabi Paramar to the College of Engineering and Computer Science, Seat 2, Nisanth Purmal Salmi to the College of Engineering and Computer Sciences, Seat 3, Michael Samuel to the College of Health Professions and Sciences, Seat 5, Gina Heinskill to the College of Health Professions and Sciences, Seat 6, Jose Victor Moraes Uchoa to the College of Medicine, Seat 3, Jade Collins to the College of Sciences, Seat 9, Aaron Brenner to undeclared majors, Seat 1. And then with the Election Commission appointment, I hereby appoint the following individuals: Ashley Solomon to Seat 5, Grace Myers, Seat 6, Amy Rhodes, Seat 7. Thank you. And I'll be open to any questions.
Any questions for the student body president? Chair Borges?
For either you or Speaker Custis, do you know where the finance office student at large appointments are? Are they being announced today?
Oh, I can officially announce them. I thought I covered that through the memorandum I sent out. If not, I appoint the following individuals to the finance office: Luke Shanks and Gianna Wegman. And I'll reflect that on the minutes. I apologize.
Follow up?
Thank you for that. I also wanted to say, make sure to let your chief of staff know I say thank you for all of his hard work. It's amazing. I was wondering if you had any updates from Rosen about the Pineapple Pantry.
So we actually, the housing individual, we asked about the Pineapple Pantry. They're putting us in contact with it's not a director, but who organizes their Pineapple Pantry. And we're currently setting up a meeting to meet with Rosen Life to see how we can further discuss with them. And we have a meeting set. Our coordinator, Boysen, has been meeting with Jeannie Kirawaz, who oversees our Nights Helping Nights Pantry, to see how we can best but improve the Pineapple Pantry. Yeah.
Third question.
Follow up, yeah. Are you open to having any Rosen senators kind of interact with that? I know I also work for undergraduate admissions, and one of my bosses is actually one of your contacts. So I was just wondering if you're open to that.
Yeah, just please reach out to myself, reach out to, if it's regarding the Pineapple Pantry, please reach out to Coordinator Boysen, and we can set that up. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Cloutier?
Yeah, present and voting.
So noted at 6:20 p.m. Any other questions for Daniela? Seeing none, thank you, President Lopez.
Thank you all.
Announcements from the student body vice president, none. Comptroller's report.
Hey everyone. So the finance office meetings for this summer are scheduled for tomorrow, July 1st and Friday, July 8th at 4:30 p.m. after the fiscal leadership meetings. The third meeting is still a TBD. The CRT current account balance is $293,261.71 with a reversion rate of 10.342%. The FAO current account balance is $101,577.67 with a reversion rate of 14.786%.
Any questions for the comptroller? Seeing none, thank you, Stephen. Cabinet Forum, Attorney General Moore.
Hello, Senate. I finished another opinion. It's the one I mentioned last week, but it's now just officially done and published on the website. It's also hanging up within the student government office. So that is just an opinion on changing university college designation when you're a senator. So essentially, this opinion holds that a student body senator who is considered removed from their seat does not retain the leadership positions or leadership roles that they once held if they were to come back to Senate and be reappointed and reconfirmed to the student body Senate, that those leadership roles wouldn't be transferred over to their new seat with them. Moving forward, if you would like to request an opinion, please utilize the request for Attorney General opinion form. I have linked it within the minutes. This will just make my life a little bit easier. It has also all of the questions regarding all of the information that I would need to collect from you anyway, in order to determine if an official opinion is warranted in that case. And this will just save some time in having to email back and forth or figure out details that could just be collected through this form. However, if you would prefer to still send an email with this information, you're more than welcome to still email me, but this form just should make my life a little bit easier as far as organizing all of the opinion requests. This week, Vice Chair McClellan, President Lopez, Speaker Custis, Chief Justice Kerr, and myself met to discuss Title IV, and I'm currently planning a meeting with D-Leg Wanjin and Chair Gold to discuss Title VI revisions. So I've been working at reviewing statutes, trying to figure out things that need to be improved. And then I'll be working with D-Leg Wanjin on that and figuring out places that we can improve Title VI to just keep it up to date and help it make a little bit more sense. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Any questions for the Attorney General? And also, before the question comes up, in that meeting with all the branch heads, I did not give my opinion on any legislation. I was just there formally as a branch head. Just to let you all know. Seeing no questions, thank you, Attorney General Moore. Announcements from the Chief Justice Carroll.
All right, hello, everybody. So we had our judicial orientation last Friday, where all the new justices got to explore statutes and learn a little bit more about their position. We're all caught up on our summer appeals, so we still have appeals trickling in, as always, of course, but as of the ones that we are working with PTS to postpone their late fees, those are all done, so that's awesome. A meeting with Bonnie Blue is in the works to update all of our website and the links on there so that all of our NEC forms are able to be easily accessed. And then applications for our assistant chief positions are now open, and they will be closing this upcoming Sunday evening. So that's all my announcements.
Any questions for the Chief Justice? Seeing none, thank you, Sage. Right. Announcements from the Supervisor of Elections, none. Announcements from the Activity and Service Fee Committee Chair, none. Announcements from the Scholarship Committee Chair, none. Announcements from the Senate President. Hello, everyone. Senate resignations. Evan Cox has resigned from the Student Body Senate. Absences. As per the LJR chair, Aile Huerta is at 2 absences. Martin is at 2 absences, and Costas is at 2 absences. Though I was told that there might have been a discrepancy on that, so I'll let LJR handle that. I am going to be hosting a resume building workshop for you all. details to be determined as to when that will be, but I want to give you all an opportunity to do some professional development here. So I'm going to make sure to host that. In regards to crisis intervention training, so I've been in contact with Major Freeman from the University Police Department regarding doing some sort of crisis intervention training, which will be a 2-hour version of what they go through. Not sure how that would look virtually, so I think I'm going to go ahead and schedule that for the fall semester where everyone can attend in person. Obviously, I will not be there, but I think it's still important for you all to have the opportunity to do, so I'll go ahead and set that up. Lastly, the compliment form is there. Please go ahead and use it if you want to send a compliment to another student government agent. And I'll take questions. Uriah.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, I didn't put it in the agenda, so I don't know what happened, but Martin and Salerno are next to each other on the tracker, so that's probably why, but it's supposed to be Martin, totally disregard Salerno.
All right. Any other questions, McClellan?
I would like to say I also have just now checked the absence tracker. Michael Costas is currently at 0. If I'm not mistaken, it says 0.
Chair Uriah? I just read what's sent to me. I know I have nothing to do with absences, so
Dude, I'm so sorry. It's supposed to be Holmes. Okay, they're next to each other on the thing. My eyes. I'm sorry. Holmes, not Costas. Thank you. Vice Chair McClellan.
You got some questions. I'll take Tasha, then I'll take Holmes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that same offer about the crisis intervention training thing was made to Disability Caucus, but Evan was the contact on that. So if you could if there are any major updates on getting that involved, I would love for Disability Caucus to still do that. So if I could be let know, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so what happened with that is Evan sent Major Freeman my email and let me be the point of contact from there on out. So I will make sure to keep the Disability Caucus informed on that though. Holmes.
If I'm correct, one of my absences were approved in committee.
Chair Uriah or Vice Chair McClellan? McClellan?
I can check that really quick.
Yeah, let me check that and I'll get back to you.
All right, and then we'll go ahead and change it if necessary, and I'll go back and announce it. All right, ILA report, ILA Huerta.
Hey, everybody. So the SGLC applications went out this week on Monday, so that's good news. Please spread the word about the application. It's on Night Connect under the executive branches page. What else did I put? I'm currently working with Housing and O-Team to be able to advertise the program. But I think that's about it. Yeah, that's it. I'll take any questions.
Any questions for the ILA? Seeing none, thank you, Hannah. ELA report, ELA Galloway.
Good evening, y'all. We're having an MLB break today. I know you all are so disappointed, but it's okay. I promise they will be back next week. But UCLA and USC are expected to join the Big Ten. Crazy news. Anyway, had a splendid and eventful Senate Jeopardy last night. Please keep yourselves updated with your college group chats as I will be sending out dates for the dean meetings within these next few weeks. To clarify, that is the optional dean meetings for the summer. And then lastly, if you have any constituents reach out to you regarding concerns, please inform me as soon as possible. That is it from me. Thank you.
All right, any questions for the ELA? Uriah, I'm assuming it's for absences. Hold on, you're muted. Let's unmute you. Chair Uriah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
You were muted the whole time.
Awesome. It's all fixed now. It just is Huerta and Martin. Sorry about all the confusion.
All right. So officially striking Holmes from the record there. All right. Any questions for the ELA? Seeing none. Thank you, Becca. Senate President Pro Tempore report, none. Deputy Pro Tempore of Legislative Affairs report, Dilo Guanjin.
Good evening, everyone. I approved 2 internal bills this week, which are both on first reading tonight and will be seen in LJR on Wednesday. I also denied one internal bill that intended to change Senate Rule 5 as it should have been a resolution, and I requested to meet with the individual to fix the legislation, but got no response in the time since it was submitted. Pro Tem Cerisi will be gone until at least Wednesday, June 6th. If you have any questions, please refer them to myself or Deeser Foster, as she is not available until she returns. Even in her absence, all legislation submissions and extension requests must be sent to Pro Tem Cerisi. Thank you, Speaker Custis. I am very bad at dates this week. I've said June instead of July many times. But if you want anyone to see those submissions before she gets back, you'll need to send them to me as well. As far as extension requests are concerned, I won't be granting extensions next week to legislation I haven't already seen through advising or otherwise, since I will be swamped until she gets back. I will be very busy next week, especially with the switch to Workday potentially causing issues with fiscal, so I'd appreciate it if you'd use my Calendly if you'd like to schedule a meeting with me, though you are welcome to walk in with questions if I'm in the office. I just might not have much time, and that Calendly link is there. On behalf of all of Pro Tem's office, please fill out the involvement tracker so we can recognize you all for going above and beyond on campus and in the community. Hopefully we will be able to recognize our first most involved senator of the month next Senate meeting. And then my anonymous DLEG feedback form, as always, is linked.
Any questions for the DLEG? Seeing none, thank you, Katrina. Deputy Pro Tempore of Senate Relations Report, none. Caucus reports, Asian/Pacific Islander American Caucus Report, Chair Patel.
Hello, everyone. This week, we plan on how our caucus is going to contribute on supporting a piece of legislation called the HB 281 bill for a day at the Capitol, which basically aims to highlight the historical contributions of the AAPI community and Florida schools, and hopefully throughout the rest of the country. I'll also be reaching out to GAP about this, and then our ex officio elections are being held the last week of the summer session.
Any questions for Chair Patel? Chair Hall?
More just for clarification for everyone in the chamber, that legislation that we saw on Day at the Capitol last year, until it gets closer, we won't know if it's actually going to be real again. But for any of the legislation we saw last year, if there's one in particular that you're interested in seeing get submitted again, come to GAP and we can work with the actual state reps that did it. Particularly this one's good because it's from Orange County, one of the representatives, and we can try to work to make sure that it is included in like the actual Florida legislature. Because I know, and I think Eli Galloway can attest, there was some legislation that we were waiting to like the buzzer for some state legislator to actually submit that had been submitted in the past. So it'll be a long process, but I appreciate you wanting to work with GAP, and then just everybody else. If you see anything in last year's Day at the Capitol, just talk to GAP.
Temple?
Yeah, and for further clarification as well, we were talking about more so how API, the caucus would advocate for this bill in general. And for a brief background, if I may, this is about like inserting a curriculum about Asian American Pacific Islander American history into the current curriculum. This was actually one of the bills that we were about to see in this most recent Day at the Capitol before it got killed in committee, like literally as we were walking into the building. So this is actually being reintroduced in the 2023 legislative session, or this next legislative session, by the same organization and the same representatives. So we figured that we can probably be more supportive of this bill going forward and a bit more proactively.
Simcoe?
Present and voting.
So noted at 6:33 p.m. Any other questions or commentary for the APIA caucus? Seeing none, thank you, Chair Patel. Black Caucus Report, Chair Holmes.
Hi, everyone. So I just want to get some updates regarding our initiatives. I will be meeting with Wendy Shively to move forward with our natural hair initiative. It's looking like I'm meeting her the week of July 11th to do a walkthrough night stop and to finalize our survey based off of what Night Stop can provide for our students that have natural hair, and so that they can meet those needs for them. And also we are working on caucus legislation for Black Business Month in August, and we are looking to host an event that supports our Black small businesses that our students navigate. So that's it for me.
Any questions for Chair Holmes? Seeing none, thank you, Chair Holmes. Visibility Caucus Report, Vice Chair Taché.
Hey, y'all. So as you know, we no longer have a chair. We were all nominated for chair and none of us accepted. So I'm acting chair at the moment. I think odds are I'm probably just going to end up becoming permanent chair, but we'll see over the next couple of weeks. But on that note, we're looking for leadership. I haven't asked formally, but I'm pretty sure no one on the committee is interested in being vice chair. If you are, let me know. So if you would just be overjoyed to come take minutes during Disability Caucus, please join the caucus and run for vice chair. Or if for some reason you haven't joined but would love to be chair because you have a passion for this cause, let me know and we can talk about the possibility of that. But that's most of what we talked about at the last meeting, is what to do now that there's no chair Cox. So thank you.
Any questions for Vice Chair Taché? Seeing none, thank you, Jason. Hispanic / Latinx Caucus report, Chair Salcedo.
Hello, everyone. Hispanic Latinx Caucus will be meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. in the SG conference room.
Any questions for Chair Salcedo? Seeing none, thank you, Chair Salcedo. LGBTQ+ Caucus report, Chair Yalamanchili.
So the caucus met today at 4 p.m. We discussed old business and new business, had clarifications from UCF agencies on name changes, legal issues with people who wish to change their name, just a question that we wanted clarified. We also decided to postpone the filling of ex officio seats to the fall semester because we sent emails to RSOs and did not get responses, and were concerned that RSO leaders were not checking their emails. And we discussed the prospect of doing something for Pride in October for LGBTQ+ History Month, when Orlando traditionally does its Pride celebrations, thinking of whether we should help arrange for transportation for UCF students to go to downtown to participate in Pride events, or perhaps hold a Pride event right at UCF. And Pride Month ends today, but we continue to celebrate the community, and there will be LGBTQ+ History Month again in October, which is another month of LGBT celebration. And according to Attorney General Moore's opinion, I do not believe that I am chair of the caucus anymore, and so I would expect that chair elections would be held in the next meeting.
So on that, we'll hold off until I get my opinion, or the opinion that I requested, that I'm going to request out regarding whether or not you are still eligible to be chair or not. So we'll talk about that, Vihan. We can schedule a meeting on that. Any questions for Chair Yalamanchili? Seeing none, thank you, Vihan. Women's Caucus report, none. Unfinished business, none. Fiscal Committee caucus time, none. Fiscal Committee reports, Chair Borges.
Thank you. Give me 1 second. Okay, so in committee for new business allocations, we approved allocation 54061, and for bills, we approved fiscal bill 5403, which we'll see today on the floor. So hey guys, like I said, committee, one allocation, one fiscal bill. We also went over our FAQ sheet for the website, which was requested by Ayla Galloway. If you have not reviewed yours, please do. CRTs was extremely outdated. And I yield to my vice chair for ages assessment.
Good evening, senators. This week in CRT, we had Border dark chocolate ginger biscuits made in the UK. It was basically a ginger biscuit coated in the dark chocolate, and Senator Richard liked them a lot and thought they had a good crisp. Dila Kawanjan thought they were okay. She didn't love them or hate them. Chair Borges really liked them and thought they tasted like pumpkin pie. Senator Hurrell said she didn't like them and they gave her goosebumps, while Senator Becerra said the ginger was too strong and that it tasted like his morning tea to him. I like the texture of these cookies. The chocolate had the perfect amount of thickness and they had a dry and crisp center that had the perfect amount of crunch to it. But it was unfortunately drowned out by the overabundance of sweetness from the dark chocolate surrounding it. And while these biscuits were amazing and crunchy, they only had a hint of ginger. There wasn't enough ginger in the biscuit to the point that all I tasted was the sweetness of dark chocolate. To me, they were average. They weren't the worst I've had, but I've definitely had better. I actually approved of these, but barely.
It gets more descriptive every week. Does anyone have any questions for CRT leadership regarding CRT business? Seeing none, thank you, Chair Borges, and thank you, Vice Chair Patel. All right, FAO committee report, Chair Millington. or Vice Chair Anderson.
Hello. Chair Millington is in fact caught up right now. We did not meet this week to make it very easy. We had some issues with submissions, but other than that, thank you so much.
Any questions for Vice Chair Anderson? Seeing none, thank you, Alexa. ORS Committee Report, Chair Temple.
Hello there, Senate. So we saw 9 post-funding reviews where we voted to not sanction 2, sanction 1 at 5%, sanction 3 at 10%, and postpone the remaining 3. We saw 4 verification of purchases forms, approving 2 and postponing 2. And we also voted to place an RSO onto fiscal probation due to the RSO allegedly relaying misinformation that resulted in 5 of their members reverting their allocations. You can review all the material that we saw in Monday's meeting. And I hereby yield to Vice Chair Robbins for Scarlet Snapshots.
All right, good evening, Senate. Wow, this week, last year had a lot going on. Chair Temple, of course, with his memes that are for some reason all screenshotted and saved on his phone. Oh, how I pity the storage on his phone. Further, I was sporting a pink wig, apparently, and our special guest, Chair Borges, had a face reveal with a blast from the past when he had no beard or facial hair, however you want to say it. D-Leg Wanchin also got to grace us with her magnificent waterfall photo. That's all.
Any questions for ORS leadership regarding ORS business? Seeing none, thank you both. Fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, none. Notice of legislation on third reading, none. Notice of legislation on second reading. Bills, Fiscal Bill 5403, funding for 6 members of the Art History Club to travel to SECAC 2022 in Baltimore, Maryland from October 26, 2022 to October 29, 2022. Is there a motion for 5-minute speeches, 15-minute questioning, 15-minute debate? Any objections? Seeing none, I'll take those general consent. Senator Potier, if you would like to introduce the RSO. Senator Potier.
Sorry, I'm a little unprepared. Hold on, let me pull up the thing real quick. My bad.
Is the RSO here? All right. I can introduce them if you would like.
Yeah, thank you.
The representative from the Art History Club here, so if you'd like to come up to the podium. You have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Add a little presentation. Is that okay? Okay, cool.
Give us 1 second, everyone, while we set up the presentation.
Thank you. My name is Nathaniel LaPierre. I am the current president of the Art History Club, and I'm requesting funding for 6 members to go to CCAC in Baltimore, Maryland from October 26th to 29th. Next slide. Oh. Okay, so CCAC is the 2nd largest organization for art history in the United States. Basically, what they do with this conference is facilitate an environment for students, art historians, professors, artists in the United States to come and share their work and new scholarship in the field of art history. For a lot of art history students, conferences are the primary way that we get new knowledge about art history, because a lot of the curriculum is about things in the past. So contemporary stuff, things that are happening now, are typically introduced through research now, which is shared at conferences. So by attending this conference, we'll have access to over 100 panels and just individuals from all across the United States who are coming to share their work and research. I will be also sharing my own research at this conference. Yes, next. Next, please. Thank you. For funding, we're obviously asking you all for funding. We also have a fundraiser set up with Chipotle, and we're working with the School of Visual Arts and Design and the College of Arts and Humanity to secure extra funding. Next. Our total cost estimate is $5,769, with registration at $745, lodging at $1,680, and travel at $3,344. Next. So for registration, that's $95 per person attending. That's early registration. And then there's an annual membership fee. You can't register without being a member at $35, but that's for 5 members. Since I'm already a member, since I'm presenting. Next slide. For lodging, the conference will be taking place at the Renaissance Baltimore Harbor Place Hotel. So that's where we'll be staying to minimize any kind of transportation costs that will incur. And we'll be doing 2 rooms for 4 nights. So each night that we're there at a rate of $210, which comes out to approximately $1,680. For travel, we're going to do a refundable flight just in the event that this gets canceled for COVID or whatever reason with Delta, which was just the most frequent flights and the most cost efficient ones. And for 6 people, that comes out to $3,344. This is just a little summary of everything, plus our funding request, which is 50% of the total cost. And if you need proof of abstract, my abstract is on the next slide. Yes, thank you.
Great. We're now in line for questioning. Saucedo.
Hi there, my name's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm glad you included this. I was just hoping you could give like a brief summary of your research and any other research that the members are going to be presenting, if any.
Okay, so thank you. I'm going to be the only member presenting. So this is my honor undergraduate thesis. It's entitled Revealing the Black Form, Black Bodies in 19th Century French Orientalist Visual Art. Which just means looking at depictions of Black individuals in art made in the 19th century by French people in a theme called Orientalism, which just means French people making art about the East. So think Egypt, Turkey, China, Japan, everything east of France physically, including Spain during one period, which is west of France. But yeah, anyways, I'm kind of just like looking at these figures and talking about what significance they have, why they were depicted, and how they fit into the scheme of the 19th century. Because during this time, especially in France, we have the abolishment of slavery, the reestablishment of slavery, the second abolishment and final abolishment of slavery. And it kind of just looks at the integration of Black people into these societies in the West. Yes.
Senator Spalding.
Hi, thank you for being here. So in your presentation, I saw that you were going to be doing like a fundraiser at Chipotle to help raise the other half. In the event that you're not able to accumulate all that's needed with the Chipotle fundraiser, do you have any other like methods or strategies to help raise the other half of your funding?
Yeah, so initially when we advertised this, we told everyone it would be about $400 out of pocket. That was in the event that we got absolutely no funding, and each person said that they could. So with that being said, if we don't get anything else, and if we don't get this funding, unfortunately, we will be able to pay, but it would just be easing the financial burden to have this. So I think we would be good even if we got nothing from that fundraiser.
Vice Chair Almoner.
I think you touched on this in the answer to just now, but how did you as an RSO choose the members who are going?
So basically we allowed active members, and what we consider an active member is anyone who has just paid dues. So, you know, you can be a member on Knights Connect, but it's due paying members. And we just told all of them, if you're interested, you can come. Based off of that, we initially had 7 people that said they wanted to come. 2 of them did have to drop out because of scheduling conflicts with other stuff. And so it's 5 people plus myself for a total of 6.
Chair Temple.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good evening. I'm going to make this rather quick. Are you aware of the post-funding process and all the things that are required of your RSO following the end of this event?
Yes.
Any other questions, McClellan?
This might be a question more for the CRT chair of the committee, but also if we could go back one slide for the numbers. The numbers on the bill and on this slide do not really match up. I just want to make sure that any of these changes were approved in committee and are all accounted for.
Chair Borges.
Thank you. So yes, some differences is from the slide. They believe that they could not get the membership fee that they were requesting in the actual bill that is in there. So that does change the registration cost. We are allowed to cover that. When it comes to travel, it was put up a little bit just in case there's any fluctuation. Other than that, everything is correct on the bill, and the RSO representative was asked if everything was okay, and they did confirm that everything on the bill is okay.
Great. Chair Holmes?
Hi, thank you for coming. Other than the flight to there, what other modes of transportation would you and the members be using?
So for intercity, most of our functionality will be in Baltimore within walking distance of the hotel. So looking at institutions and museums and whatnot. But aside from that, we'll probably just like Uber or take the public transportation, the bus. If we are in DC for any of those museums, they do have a little train that comes through. So we use that probably as well.
Any other questions for the RSO? If not, I'll take a motion. Temple?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Salcedo, Hall, then Tache.
So I strongly believe we should vote in favor of this fiscal bill. I think this is an awesome opportunity to for the members to expand their knowledge on, like he said, information that is not readily available because it's art history. So this would be a great opportunity for them to learn more. And I also wanted to point out that I did like their choice of airline. If you have not been keeping up, Spirit and American are usually the cheapest, but they are known for cancellations as of lately. So I did like their airline choice, and I hope that was part of their decision-making process. But besides that, I do think we should vote in favor of this bill.
Chair Hall?
I concur with everything that Chair Saucedo said, and I'll add your research sounds pretty dope. I think that that's the kind of stuff that we want to see coming out of UCF is kind of just passion more than anything. It seems like this is a topic that you yourself are passionate about, and probably your members as well. And I think that it is really important, not just to support the arts, but specifically something like art history, because I feel like usually these kinds of things end up on the back burner. And I think that this opportunity in particular is one that could be pretty cool, not just for yourself and the members, but kind of having UCF representation at it as well. So I strongly encourage that we vote in favor.
Senator Tache?
May I retain?
You
This rocks. Your presentation looks like it rocks. I'm a big fan of all of this research, and I love that we get to throw some money at art history. With that, move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on fiscal bill 5403. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. Also, please look at the document. There are 15 of you on it. With a vote count of 27 to 0, fiscal bill 5403 passes favorably on second reading.
Thank you.
Right. Resolutions, none. Special acts, none. Internal committee caucus time, none. Internal committee reports, ENA committee. Chair Gell, I was told would not be taking care of that. Vice Chair Almanar is not here, so we'll come back. Report, Chair Hall. Oh, you are, Daisy? You ready to? Okay, Chair Gell.
Yes, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm here. So we'll be seeing 3 EC confirmations today. One of them had to be postponed because she was out of town. We'll start seeing Senate appointments next week, as well as 4 other EC confirmations. I attached the questions, but I will also attach their confirmation materials. I see that that's not attached now, so I'll make sure to get on that. And on the 12th, we'll be seeing external and internal appointments, which will be made by the chief. Other than that, I will be yielding confirmations to my vice chair when he gets back, but until then, I can also handle confirmations. And yeah, that's basically it.
Great. Any questions for Chair Gell? Deela Gwanjan?
Is there an estimate of how many confirmations we'll be seeing each week, since there were a lot appointed today?
Yeah, absolutely. I will be categorizing the appointments into 2 groups and then sending out those emails to see if anyone has any issues, but I plan on segmenting it into 2. However, I'm more than willing to consult with you as your previous chair, as well as actually just you.
Any other questions for Chair Gal? Seeing none, thank you, Daisy. GAP committee report, Chair Hall.
Alrighty. Hey, everybody. We had a pretty productive meeting in GAP where we discussed the dispersal of the student priorities survey. We already reached out to Director Turner on how we can spread the survey online. So I want to thank Vice Chair Temple for that. And we're working on kind of creating the digital requests with the graphics and whatnot. I also want to just briefly mention the success of the Summer Bee Block Party that President Lopez mentioned. In particular, we were able to register 10 students, and I want to specifically shout out Senator Saucedo for doing the voter registration. They did an amazing job. And something I will note specifically with the block party was that a lot of students moved in that day. So if we can get 10 students to register when they moved in that day, that makes me very excited for what we can do now that we have opportunities with UCF orientation and other future events. Moving on from that, just to plug again, the student priority survey was completed last week. So please feel free to fill it out and share it. I've linked it here, and you can expect that eventually on the SG social media, there will also be a similar survey placed there. Well, it won't be, it is the survey, but it will be placed there soon. And then the last thing that I wanted to just link is that we set up an interest form for SG agents interested in helping with Ignite Your Vote 2022. This form is designed for anyone interested in helping in the future. The final format itself of how this campaign is going to work will be completed within the next week or so in terms of the structure and whatnot. This is just to gauge how many people are interested. This will be sent out to all the branches. So I'm probably going to work with the speaker's office in particular and ELA Galloway on making sure that exec, judicial, and I guess the election commission individuals might just talk to them directly, but make sure that this is sent out to everybody. This is not necessarily somebody signing up, I want to do this. This is just to gauge how many people potentially would be interested in helping with this initiative that will involve voter registration, voter education, etc., and the events that we're hoping to be a part of, as well as events to put on, to volunteer and participate. So anyone that's interested, it's not just GAP related. Anyone in Senate that is interested, please fill it out. It just helps us know. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Sabila? Sabula? Mole?
President voting.
Noted at 6:58 p.m. I think Larkins is probably having some Wi-Fi issues. Okay, so we'll just go into questioning. Chair Rea.
I don't know if I didn't hear, but will this be happening in like late August, early September, and October, I assume?
So the campaign itself will start in July because we kind of have a very limited window before the deadline to register for the primary is, but the goal is to do a lot of the planning within July and August to then implement both early weeks of school as well as the real meat of the campaign is going to be September and October, particularly during early voting.
Sabula?
President voting.
Noted at 6:59 p.m. Any other questions for Chair Hall? Seeing none, thank you, Dylan. LJR committee report, Chair Urea.
Hey guys, firstly, sorry for the confusion with the absence on the agenda. My eyes are not the best, clearly. This week, we approved one absence, PPI'd one, and postponed one for more information. We also had to PPI Internal Bill 5409 and Resolution 5403 since the original author has resigned from Senate. So we're providing some time to the new authors of the bill just to get used to the legislation and get familiar with it. We also finished a piece of legislation that will be seen tonight on first reading in committee, and we worked on a new bill for Title III possibly. And lastly, we've taken all the criticism and different concerns we've heard from different senators, and we have amended our new absence policy. So please take a look at that, and yeah, thank you.
Any questions for the LJR committee? Seeing none, thank you, Chair Urea. SBA committee report, none. Confirmations. Is there a motion for 5-minute speeches, 15-minute questioning, 15-minute debate? Any objections? Seeing none, I'll take those on consent. Vice Chair Almenar.
We'll now be seeing Madison Smith for Election Commission seat 1.
Madison, you'll have 5 minutes when you're ready.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Okay. My name is Madison Smith. I use she, her pronouns. I am currently a rising third-year student here at UCF, majoring in political science on the pre-law track with a minor in women and gender studies, as well as anthropology. As a political science major, I obviously have a passion for elections and government. This is something that started in high school when I volunteered on campaigns, worked in campaigns, and was involved in local activism. And going into college, I knew that I wanted to continue that. So in 2020, I did join SGLC and completed the program as a member of JLC. And then I was an election commissioner this past year. And I found this to be a really rewarding experience, but I also found there to be a lot of growth for election commission. So I knew that I wanted to return this year and really help election commission reach the goals that it needs to do to serve the student body. And I would really like to be a part of that. I think there's a lot of areas of growth and that I can offer a unique perspective being on the election commission last year. And with some unique things happening with that election as well. And I would really love the opportunity to be able to serve the student body again and just help the election commission reach its full potential. Thank you.
We're now online for questioning. Richard.
Yeah, would you mind detailing some of the growth opportunities that you see for the election commission?
Yeah, so one of the main things that I want to focus on is really disseminating information about the candidates to the student body. I feel that that's really something an election commission was lacking in. This past year, sitting at like the polling site, I had a lot of students come up to me and they wanted to find platforms for specifically Senate candidates. And all that I could really direct them to is the Senate Instagrams for the candidates. I would really like us to have a set platform points that Senate candidates and of course presidential candidates as well would fill out on specific areas of the platform. So it's an equal way for everybody and candidates to have that information available to students. I'd like to have that posted on the SU website, as well as at the actual polling site, have a QR code available that takes them to that page so they can click on it right there, right then. Because some people don't even know the election is happening or don't even know student government exists. And so they're walking by the tent on those 3 days on the week before spring break. So I think that would be really helpful and have that information readily available to the student body. Because if we're not giving them information about the candidates in an impartial format, then what is the point of election commission? That's what we're here to do, is to educate the student body and encourage them to vote. And students are not going to want to vote if it's an extra step required of them to go and try to find the candidate's Instagram. And we should just be able to give that information to them.
Chair Holmes.
Hi, Madison. Thank you for coming. I just had one question for you. Do you know, as an election commissioner, how many ENA committee meetings you have to attend for both the fall and spring?
Yes, so we're required to attend one in the fall and spring. And then also if we're requested to, at least one we have to go to, but if requested to by ENA, then we also have to attend those as well.
Any other questions for the candidate? If not, Sarah,
May I retain?
you may.
What sparked you to go for this position?
Yeah, so as an election commissioner last year, I knew that I really wanted to continue in the position. In the initial, last year, what sparked me to go for it was I was involved in student government in high school, and I just like being involved in elections and government. And I think that election commission is an area of student government that's a little bit more unique that not a lot of people know about. And I really just like elections and campaigning. And I felt like that's where my experience was really relevant. So that's why I decided to apply for election commission.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Urea, is that an objection? All right, seeing none, we're now in debate. We'll go Urea, Hall, then Holmes.
Yeah, I think that this candidate seems really well educated, and she seems like she'd do a great job and has some great opportunities where she wants to implement some things for the election. And yeah, I encourage everyone to vote yes.
Chair Hall?
I think this candidate's great. They were great in ENA. And I think one of the biggest aspects that's very important is the fact that the candidate is a returning election commissioner and will be able to help a lot of the incoming election commissioners with kind of figuring out how this stuff works and whatnot. And something I think is also a benefit is the fact that the nominee has actually worked in some capacity, the actual government. Looking at the resume, I've met Representative Learn, chill dude. But long story short, I think that having someone that has both outside experience and the inner workings of election commission will help make the branch that traditionally can struggle a lot with kind of just the procedure and making sure there are even enough election commissioners to do it. I think having somebody that has that experience will help a lot.
Chair Holmes?
I'm going to echo the same sentiments as Chair Hall. This candidate was extremely informative on not only their knowledge on the statutes, but on their role, especially with their past experience, apologize, as election commissioner. There's a lot of duties for an election commissioner, and I wanted to kind of throw that question out there, and she was able to answer it. And seems like she has a lot of passion for this role, and I love that. So I will be voting in favor of this candidate, and I encourage you all to do the same.
Are there any dissenting opinions? Seeing none, Vice Chair Almanar.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the confirmation of Madison Smith for the Election Commission seat 1. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 31 to 1-0, congratulations, Madison. Vice Chair Almanar.
We'll now see Michael Soto, for seat 2.
Michael, you'll have 5 minutes when you're ready.
Hello, my name is Michael Soto. I'm currently a junior studying science engineering, and I'm really interested in becoming an election commissioner. This will be my first time getting involved in SG. My previous experience has been being a treasurer in SOS, which is Society of Optic Students, which is the largest undergraduate RSO in Creole. There, I learned a lot of organizational skills as well as like learning how to budget, and I feel like a lot of the skills I learned in this position could transfer well into the election commissioner position. And yeah, I'm super excited to possibly grow in this position with a lot of duties that would be responsible for if I got this position.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. Becerra, then Wanjan.
Hello.
Hello.
How do you plan to improve transparency in this position?
I would just do that by working as close as possible to my other election commissioners, as well as making sure that the reports that we send out are as accurate and as up to date as possible, because I understand that the supervisor of elections has to report to you guys all the time when it comes to election time. So I'd want to make sure that my role is fulfilled and making sure that all the times and dates are set and are correct.
Dila Wanjan.
Have you read Title VI?
Yes.
Any other questions for the candidate? If not, take a motion. Almanar.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Hall. Chair Hall, then Becerra.
Okay. Again, I think the nominee is great. In particular, as someone who was also a senior entering student government for the first time, it's great to see that. And it doesn't matter how late you start, you can still start. I think that one thing that is very interesting is your degree is actually very interesting to kind of have more diversity within the election commission on that. But speaking at least on ENA, one of the biggest things that I liked about this nominee was his willingness to learn the job, to understand the job and to execute it as well as possible. I think that's what we should expect from all the election commissioners above all else. It's definitely a learning process, but something that as long as you're dedicated to learning, I think that is good enough for me, as well as the experience that you have prepares you for this role. So I will be voting in favor.
Ms. Sarah,
I retain.
you may not.
Oh, no, yeah, but looking at the minutes for ENA, I definitely like the candidate, and I believe he will be great in this position.
Didn't let you retain because it has to be ENA chair or vice chair. Seeing no other hands, are there any dissenting opinions? Seeing none, Vice Chair Almanar.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the confirmation of Michael Soto for the Election Commission seat 2. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 30-0-1, congratulations, Michael.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Almanar.
We'll now see Anisha Tegila, sorry for the mispronunciation, for Election Commission seat 4.
Nisha, you have 5 minutes when you're ready.
Hello, my name is Nisha Tegula, and I'm a sophomore here at UCF, and I'm majoring in biology on the pre-health track. And a little bit about me is that I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and I'm also part of the ISA, which is the Indian Student Association, and I kind of just a dance team. Some of my previous leadership experiences include being a co-president of an Amnesty International Club at my high school, and being secretary for the National English Honor Society and Junior Citizens. Some of my previous community service experiences include being a hospital volunteer and being a camp counselor. So my goals of the election commission position are to ensure a fair and friendly election. And I want to make sure everyone who runs for a position follows all the rules, but I also want to make sure that they understand the rules clearly. And if they don't, I'll work with them to make sure they understand the rules. And that's it.
Great, we're now in line for questioning. Temple, then Wanjun.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good evening, Mr. Guma. Sorry if I mispronounced that. So you said that you had a good number of prior experiences. My question regarding that is, how do you think the experiences you've gained from your past will help you as an election commissioner?
Yeah, so although none of them are like tied directly to student government, I feel like since I was, for example, a camp counselor, we would have meetings almost like every week to discuss the activities for the week and for the campers and like what they would do. And if we had any disagreements, we would handle them and be as unbiased as possible, which I feel like some of these attributes would help with the position.
Do you like Wanjun?
How do you plan to execute your goals of having fair and friendly elections and making sure that everyone better understands the rules when they're running for election?
Yes, we hold like meetings in the beginning. But that's when I read the rules. So we would have meetings in the beginning to explain the rules to all the candidates. And if they don't, obviously, we would have to write up a violation and explain to them what they did wrong, and then have if they did something wrong, we would hold like meetings and stuff.
Anyone else have any questions for the candidate? Spalding?
Hi, thank you for being here. I guess I just have a general question. Should he be confirmed? I would like to know, should he face any obstacles during your time? How would you best overcome them and then work to make sure that we can avoid those obstacles going forward in the future?
Yes, I would work really closely with my fellow election commissioners to figure out what's going wrong first, and then come up with like a game plan to figure out how we can fix it, and go on from there.
Any other questions for the candidate? If not, Almanar?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Spalding, is that an objection? All right, seeing none, we're now in debate. We'll go Spalding. Senator Spalding.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. So I'm going to be voting in favor of this candidate. I was looking at the ENA minutes and they answered questions to satisfaction. And the questions that we asked here, they also have proven that they are more than capable of doing this job and fulfilling their role in the best way possible. So I'm going to be voting in favor, and I encourage you all to do the same.
Is there anyone else wishing to debate? Are there any dissenting opinions? Seeing none, Vice Chair Almanar.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the confirmation of Anisha Tagula for the Election Commission seat 4. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 32 to 0 to 0, congratulations, Anisha.
Yeah.
All right, internal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, constitutional amendments none, bills, internal bill 5412, updates to Title II, the LJR committee, is hereby remanded to LJR. Internal bill 5413, updates to Title IV, Vice Chair McClellan, is hereby remanded to LJR. Resolutions, none. Proclamations, none. Special acts, none. Notice of legislation on third reading, constitutional amendments, none. Bills, internal bill 5410, updates to Title III by Chair Urea. Is there a motion for 5-minute speeches, 15-minute questioning, 15-minute debate? Any objections to that? Seeing none, I'll take that as general consent. Chair Urea, 5 minutes when you're ready.
All right, I don't want to be like super repetitive because I know I said a lot of this in second reading, but basically this is just providing reasons as to why you would abstain and kind of what that is for, since it can kind of be unclear with the definitions in Title II. And yeah, I yield to questioning.
Great, we're now in line for questioning. Chair Holmes.
Hi, so I just wanted to ask what prompted, I was gonna say your committee, but you introduced it. What prompted you to make these changes to Title III, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, so personally, I know I felt like this, and I've heard some other senators kind of voice this too, that there was just some over abstaining where there was more abstains than votes, which is just, in my opinion, not the best because we are put in this position to vote. So I kind of just wanted to provide some clarity, just so it kind of doesn't get lost in translation as to why you would abstain.
Any other questions? Sarah?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right, we'll go Temple, Yalmanchili, then Becerra.
Yeah, so I would recommend all my fellow senators to vote in favor of this piece of legislation. It just makes sense to have definitions attributed to how we vote. That way nothing really gets lost in translation, and we are more open with how we vote.
Yalmanchili?
I echo the sentiments of Chair Temple and also encourage my fellow senators to vote in favor of this bill. I believe that the definitions outlined in the bill are good definitions, considering that we have had a lot of abstentions in Senate. And I do think that the Senate body was elected to, and if the senator was appointed, to hold an opinion, to represent the constituents that a senator represents. And I think it would help reduce abstentions, and that's a good thing.
All right, let's go ahead and open the document. No, at least 30 of you all are voting. There are 19 people on there, and one of them is myself. So, Becerra.
So yeah, I'm gonna echo the sentiments of Chair Temple and Yalmanchili. I definitely agree that first of all, the definitions are pretty solid. And on top of that, even though sometimes abstaining, like it makes sense, sometimes there's a hard decision, but we shouldn't always be abstaining. We're in this position for a reason and we could use it for good. So let's use that. Wait, may I retain?
You may.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on internal bill 5410. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 30 to 0 to 4, internal bill 5410 passes favorably on third reading. Internal bill 5411 updates title 11, mandate of workplace harassment training for student government agents. Chair Hall, 5 minutes when you're ready.
Yeah, not a whole lot has changed between this week and last week. I was able to speak both to Vice President Martinez and Chief Justice Kerr about how a potential workplace harassment training would work. Basically, both were in agreement that either web course based or using something, particularly both cited Victim Services as the entity to provide an in-person or Zoom based training was kind of the idea. And should this bill pass, what I'd like to do is similar to what Vice Chair McClellan did with the Attorney General and other branch heads, is to maybe set up some sort of branch head meeting. I can be there, I don't have to be there, but something to kind of work out what the best way to do it, because I do think that should we pass this, that it would probably be beneficial that the branches collectively use the same training versus different trainings for different branches. But to kind of just sit down with everybody and coordinate what the most effective way to do that would be. With that, I'll yield for any questions.
We're now in line for questioning. Does anyone have a question? If not, Temple?
Move to go to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right, we'll go Spalding, then Holmes.
Hi, yes. So I'm going to vote in favor of this bill. I think that it's what we need. And I think that it's important that we do have this kind of training, especially going forward. And so just to say it again, I'm going to vote in favor, and I encourage you all to do the same.
Holmes?
Yeah, I'm going to echo those sentiments. I think this is just really important to implement, and Chair Hall has done a great job identifying this issue and bring a solution to it. So I'm going to vote in favor.
McClellan?
Move to vote.
Won't see that there's one more hand for debate, so
my bad.
I'll take that last hand.
Sorry, McClellan. I just want to say I really appreciated Chair Hall looking into all of my concerns, so I will be voting in favor.
Are there any dissenting opinions? Not. McClellan?
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on internal bill 5411. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. The vote count of 31 to 0 to 1, internal bill 5411 passes favorably on third reading. All right, resolutions. Resolutions, none. Special acts, none. Notice of legislation on second reading, none. And at 7:24, we are in Senate forum. We'll start with Chair Holmes.
Hi, everyone. So to my surprise, I was not off for Juneteenth for my classes. So I reached out to Dr. Guzman regarding Juneteenth not being off for for summer students, faculty, and staff. And I was informed that calendars are actually created years in advance. So she informed me that she reached out to the provost last year to at least cancel classes, but has not heard back. However, we're going to work together to get something done for the next year, because I was not happy that I had to take a quiz on Monday. So, well, I'm working on that. That's it for me.
Great. Chair Temple?
And it's kind of very similar to this, but I know that there's been a lot of bad news around, or at the very least controversial news around the Supreme Court. But today there was a major development in that we got the very first African-American woman on the bench in Ketanji Brown Jackson. She was sworn in today by Chief Justice Roberts as well, and was issued the judicial oath by outgoing Justice Stephen Breyer. And for the first time in the 200 some odd year history of the Supreme Court, you finally have an African-American woman on the bench. So although there's a lot more work that needs to be done, this is a very important development.
All right. Chair Hall.
Yeah, just to piggyback on kind of a separate story, but something that actually broke yesterday is kind of a breakthrough case regarding Emmett Till. For those of you who study history, Emmett Till was lynched in the 1950s by a discredited person. But what they basically found yesterday after combing through a Mississippi courthouse is an unserved warrant for the woman who made the false accusation, Carolyn Bryant Dunham. It's worth noting that her husband was one of the people involved that was acquitted of all charges by an all-white jury. So this warrant looks like it will be served and she will face trial for her involvement. All I want to say about it is that this is accountability. It's not justice. Justice would have been Emmett Till not dying. But at the end of the day, this is actually opening a new chapter into a very important element of the civil rights movement in our history.
Senator Spalding.
Hi guys. So just a really quick update on the parking garages. I have not forgotten. I've just been kind of really busy this summer, but before I did speak with the transportation safety coordinator, I wanted to gather all my information, do my research. I'm going to be putting together a Google Doc that I got the idea from another senator. So thank you, Senator Simcoe. And then, so if you guys kind of want to have any input or have any other information or research that you want to add on to it, you can do that. And then I'll also share that going forward. I don't know when I'll schedule the meeting with the transportation coordinator, but hopefully it'll be before, like in the next couple of weeks.
Uriah.
So just like Senator Spalding, I'm trying to write a bill about Narcan availability on campus. So I've been trying to get a bunch of information and stuff. So I've been in talks with UCF PD about that. And something I just wanted to point out so everyone knows is that last week UCF Pharmacy started selling for free Narcan to all students. So if that's something that you're interested in and you want to educate yourself on, I'd be happy to provide resources. And yeah.
All right, Almanar.
Yeah, I'll just want to give a quick update about the gun reform poll that I worked with Chair Salerno on. It's gotten about 270 responses as of now. Me and Brody spoke about a slight issue with the poll, and so it's been kind of settled. Brody? Yes, it has been. So given the response, like a lot of responses, I think it's going to be ending tomorrow night. So if you guys have anybody who you know is interested who hasn't filled out the poll yet, please share it on your social medias, because tomorrow night is the last day of the poll being open.
McClellan.
Hello, I mentioned in Senate exec, but I wanted to make sure that I was being transparent as well with everybody in Senate. I was present last week in ENA during the vote of no confidence and the confirmations, and I saw multiple members exchanging and messaging, and I thought that was very inappropriate. So I public records requested the entire committee. I will share my findings with Senate as soon as I get them. And just wanted to let everybody know so I can be completely transparent about this.
Anyone else wishing to speak during Senate forum? Seeing none. Senate deliberations. Anyone wishing to enter a period of deliberation? Seeing none. Advisors report. Birdie.
All right. I don't have many big announcements for you all. Just a reminder, only a few more weeks of the summer. And then we take a little break and cruise on through the rest of the year. So that's exciting, but it does feel like the summer has gone very fast. Yeah, summer B is starting. So hopefully you had a successful first half of the summer. If you were taking classes just for that period, hopefully you're taking the time you need to be successful with the summer B classes or the second half of your classes, whatever the case may be. And with that, just another reminder for those that are paid employees, please drop off your timesheets with me as we leave Senate tonight. Yeah, so with that, we will do some senator shout outs. Jay-Z? I want to shout out Senator Taché. He's rocking a really cool mustache right now. Whereas
Vice Chair McClellan for that performance.
Salcedo?
I want to shout out Chair Hall for helping me out with the voter registration efforts on the fly because we actually got a lot of students at our table at once. So he was very accommodating and I appreciate that.
Holmes?
Shout out my vice chair and my whole entire caucus. They were amazing while I was gone and just so understanding. And I couldn't ask for a better caucus and vice chair, to be honest with you.
Oh.
Somebody rapid fire. I got three. First one is to Vice Chair Taché. Not his mustache is immaculate, but more specifically, the fact that he has taken over as acting chair of the Disability Caucus and is trying as hard as possible to do the work. I appreciate it. I know everyone else in the caucus appreciates it. So thank you. My second one is to Senator Saucedo. Ditto for the voter registration event in particular. We did not initially have a table for VR, but she noticed a table next to UCFPD and is like, I'm gonna get that table. We got the table. It worked out well. They weren't using it, so we were able to use it. And then my last one is very random, but when I looked at the Senate appointments, one of the appointments is Jade Collins, someone who I've never met before, but had my email because when I logged into my email at the very start of this, it was her. So I feel like I have some weird connection to this person. So I wish them best as they go through confirmation.
First of all, Jade's the bomb. Second of all, I'm going to assume that in the middle of that conversation, you discussed with them about the table, and I don't need an answer. I'm just going to assume that we did not steal tables. Okay, moving on to Temple.
All right, I got a good number myself. So first off, shout outs to Eli Galloway and Deezer Foster for creating and hosting an amazing Jeopardy last night, and also to those who work behind the scenes. So Dylan Wanjan and Chair Borges for working behind the scenes on that. And of course, shout out to my mentee, AJ, for actually winning the whole thing. Shout out to Women's Caucus for having a very, very productive meeting. And especially to Chair Sabula for overseeing that. So well done. Shout out to ORS for having a very interesting meeting, to say the least. That was also very productive. And of course, shout out to GAP because why not?
All right. Sabila. Oh, you're muted.
Larkin, you're muted. Sorry, I'm not having a great time with technology today. I'd like to shout out everyone who helped with Jeopardy because I know it wasn't just Deezer Foster and Galloway. I think Borges and Wanjan were also helping. So thank you for putting on such a fun event. And I'd also like to shout out all of Women's Caucus as well, not to copy Ethan entirely. And also my Vice Chair Castillo, he's been really great. So yay.
All right, y'all, Majili.
I would also like to shout out all of Women's Caucus and Chair Sabila. They have done an amazing job, and we had a very productive meeting. LJR also had a very productive meeting yesterday. So shout out to Chair Urea and Vice Chair McClellan, not only for his job as Vice Chair, but for his impeccable performance of the national anthem in today's Senate meeting. And shout out to GAP, Vice Chair Temple, and Chair Hall.
All right, Urea.
Kind of like what Dylan said, Maybe they're watching this. I don't know. But shout out to all the people that applied for open seats. I'm so excited to have some new faces in Senate. And yeah.
Domino. I have two quick ones. It didn't feel right hijacking because of this chic couture, but shout out to Madam President over there with her outfit, very presidential. Let's do one for the crowd. And then secondly, shout out to all of my committee and caucus leadership team. You guys are doing an outstanding job with the initiatives and handling the meetings and being a strong foundation of leadership for all of us and keeping things going. So shout out to you guys over there.
Galloway.
Thank y'all for all the compliments on Jeopardy, but I did want to shout out Speaker Custis because y'all forgot she was on muting duty. She muted and unmuted everybody so kindly. I also want to shout out Chair Temple because you're the best mentee ever. Sorry, AJ, but you're the best G mentee, so that's fine. And then I also wanted to shout out Teacher Foster for being an amazing co-host. We're gonna pretend he's here in spirit. I also wanted to shout out Ryan, not for the performance, but for practicing and doing it for the first time, even though you said you haven't played in years. So that's like great dedication. So you did amazing.
Oh. Two other quick ones. Firstly, on the exec side, to Coordinator Boyson for setting up that Rosen thing. I was in the office when they were all trying to figure out how to carpool, and that was definitely cool to see. And my other one, just to Brody, Jax, and Shane, all of this financial stuff has been very annoying for everyone with payroll and everything. Y'all have tried your best and are doing your best, so I do appreciate it.
Thanks. Temple.
Yeah, I completely forgot a few more things. One, again, shout out Chair Galloway because she's the best mentor. And two, shout out to everybody that actually gave a lot of information for the Jeopardy last night because I learned so much from all of you. And it was really fascinating too. And also in particular, shout out to Senator Mull for being a major Jimmy Buffett fan. You got good taste.
All right. Wanjin.
Shout out to all of fiscal leadership because they're going to be dealing with even more than the rest of you who are paid with the workday transition. It's going to be a mess, but we'll get through it. So thank you to all of fiscal leadership who's here, and then also to our wonderful comptroller who's been trying his best to figure all that out.
There's so much, y'all. All right, Patel.
A shout out Vice Chair DeMarlo and Chair Temple for being amazing and having productive meeting on Tuesday from APIA, and also to everyone who helped set up Jeopardy yesterday.
All right, McClellan.
I don't have a shout out, but I'm really sorry. I have to correct. It hasn't been years. It was a couple of months, but I know that there's people that are going to watch this later and they're going to try to fact check me later, being like, "You're lying. You're trying to make yourself better than you are."
All right, Borges.
I would also like to shout out Coordinator Boyson. Can I direct a question to Coordinator Boyson also?
There's no rules. It's all my time.
Okay. You guys didn't take the shuttle to Rosen?
So I really, really wanted to, but the times just didn't align. Like we would have, the meeting was from 3 to 5 and the closest shuttle was from 1 and the last one was at 6. So, and it was just like a little bonding experience too.
Not using ReCF resources? Shout out withdrawn.
Yeah, Borges.
Just to follow up, I would love to work with you in the transportation and safety coordinator because that's one of my biggest issues as a student at Rosen.
All right, Becerra.
So shout out to everyone that put up Jeopardy yesterday. That was really fun. And underrated shout out, I don't think he's here, but shout out to Senator Costas, who was being picked for absolutely everything yesterday in Jeopardy. I just wanted to.
All right, Galloway.
I had one last one. I'm sorry. I want to shout out Patrick. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but Patrick has come to so many meetings. So we appreciate you being here. I really don't know why you're here, but thank you.
Yeah, all right. We love involvement in all shapes and sizes. Hurrell.
First of all, shout out to everyone with the Jeopardy thing. That was really fun. And then I wanted to specifically shout out Deezer Foster. I'm pretty sure he's not here, but even though he hates pasta, I will forgive him. But just wanted to shout him out.
All right. Temple.
You got, this is the last time, I swear, but oh no, who was it? Oh yeah, shout out to JC for meeting the Queen of England herself. Nothing further.
Clearly you had a successful bonding because I have not gotten any of your jokes. Yalam and Chili.
Also, one last shout out. I would like to shout out Senator AJ Patel. He's my man. He did really well in yesterday's Jeopardy, dominated the game, almost like he was cheating, but he wasn't cheating. And so, great job, AJ.
All right, Tasha.
You know, I didn't know that Patrick's been there all these times because I've been home for the summer. So I wanted to give a shout out to Patrick. I also wanted to give an anti shout out to whoever keeps not picking him for all the positions he's applying for in student government, because Patrick's a saint and he's perfect and he deserves to be one of us. So anti shout out to that person, mega shout out to Patrick.
All right. Let's maintain some decorum and.
Yeah, to be clear, this is not Senator anti-shoutouts. So with that, do you have any questions?
How's your weekend?
All right, let's all right. Anything else, Brody? Netta?
Oh, that is so fancy. Oh my goodness. Just a reminder again, I know I say this pretty much every single meeting, but if anybody ever needs anything, I am here. I hope you all have been enjoying my hundreds of emails I've been sending out. All I do is just email all of you. So yes, if you need anything, I'm here for you, Senate related or not.
Any questions for Netta and or Brody? Seeing none. All right, miscellaneous business, resignations. As I announced earlier, Evan Cox has resigned from Senate and Senator Potier has resigned from CRT. Elections none, appointments none. Custis is chic couture. My favorite part of every meeting. And it's interesting because every week before Senate, like the number of people who ask me if their outfits look good, it just increases. So let's see. Honorary mention, I think there was one from last week, but I forgot who it was. So that tells me that the outfit was not as memorable as I thought it was. I'm just kidding. But honorable mention today will go to AJ Patel. Like the outfit, love how it matches with Even. It's wonderful. And then really like Chair Holmes's outfit. Don't hate me for this. McClellan, the suit, it's a great suit. It really is. And then my top pick for best dressed, Senator Domino. You have to turn the camera on, show everyone the outfit. I love it. I love the, if you're comfortable, if you're not, that's okay. It's a great outfit. All right, Cerisi's Collectibles, which is for this week, Sebula's Collectibles Special Edition. Larkin.
Okay, hello everyone. So when I was choosing all of my horribly geeky stuff to bring in, I was like, well, most of my stuff is anime figures, but I don't want people to think I'm weird. But then I was like, I should do that. So this is Satsuki. She's from a fighting game that was released in 2002 called Melty Blood. This figure is from 2008 from a very limited run. This figure is really hard to find. I got her for $30 at a local comic shop that had recently moved. So they brought out some of their old stock and forgot to check online to see how much they sell for now. You can actually play one of the new versions of the game at Arcade Monsters. It's like in one of the upstairs area, Multi-Blood type Lumina. It's very fun. It's about like vampires and stuff like that. So that is my Sebula's Collectibles, and my name actually fits. So thank you.
Anyone else for miscellaneous business? This probably should not have gone in miscellaneous business, but I have an announcement. There are 4 weeks left for the summer. That means there's 4 weeks left of me being your speaker. If anyone is interested in the position or just has any questions about it, just go ahead and reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to you. All right, miscellaneous business, McClellan.
I would like to put forward a vote of no confidence on Pro Tem Cerisi.
Okay, there has been a motion for a vote of no confidence on the Pro Tem 4, which would be seen next week, that next Thursday Senate meeting. So we'll go ahead and see that then. Anyone else for miscellaneous business? Paul,
Move to adjourn pending final roll call.
there's been a motion to adjourn pending final roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're there.
Mole,
Here.
Hodier,
Here.
Kira,
Here.
Martinez, McClellan,
Present.
Millington,
Present.
Richard,
Present.
Temple,
Present.
Caldwell,
Present.
what happened? Robbins,
Present.
Spalding,
Present.
Castillo,
Here.
Wynn, Simcoe,
Present.
Wanjin,
Here.
Domino,
Here.
Foster, Galloway,
Here.
Custis,
Present.
Beaumont,
Here.
Sarah,
Present.
Gell,
Present.
Demarla,
Here.
Patel,
Here.
Yalamanchili,
Here.
Harrell,
Present.
Borges,
Here.
Almanar,
Present.
Anderson,
Present.
Castellan, Sabula,
Present.
Hall,
Here.
Holmes,
Present.
Huerta,
Present.
Costas,
He's here. He said it in the chat.
right, Martin,
Present.
Salerno, Saucedo,
Present.
Tache,
Here.
and Cerisi. All right, 35 out of 41, quorum is verified.
All right, before we go, no discussion whatsoever on the motion that was made for the vote of no confidence in the group meeting. Not appropriate. Hereby adjourn this meeting at 7:49 PM.